everyone, it's Marcel here. We've been getting a lot of questions about this topic, so I wanted to take a quick moment to go over this major legal development that's been happening in the real estate world. And this is the litigation against the National Association of REALTORS and how it affects home buyers and sellers. The litigation centers around allegations that the National Association of REALTORS violated antitrust laws. And what do I mean by that? Historically, when a seller wanted to list their home, they would meet with an agent or multiple agents, fill out the listing agreement where the compensation for selling the home is negotiated, including a specific amount for the cooperating broker, also known as the buyer's agent. Plaintiffs essentially claim that the National Association of REALTORS, which I'll just use the acronym NAR moving forward, conspired to raise, fix, maintain, or stabilize real estate commissions across the industry, which allegedly violated federal and state laws. Some of the specific grievances that were mentioned were, one, they felt that they were forced to pay a buyer's commission, which essentially reduced their total proceeds from the sales. Two, they weren't happy with the fact that they couldn't list their home on the MLS without having to pay a buyer's commission, and then there was no opportunity to be able to opt out. They also believed that commissions were standardized across the board due to NAR's dominant position, which left them little room for negotiation. There was concerns that the buyer's agents were steering their clients to the homes that paid higher commissions, which ultimately pressured the sellers to offer more. They also felt that there was a lack of transparency on how the commission rates were being determined, which made it difficult to understand the true cost of selling their home. Given these complaints, the legal battles reached a boiling point on Halloween of 2023 when a jury ruled against NAR, awarding $1.8 billion in damages to the plaintiffs. Now, this triggered a wave of copycat lawsuits across the country. And as you can imagine, faced with escalating legal and financial risks, the National Association of REALTORS chose to settle, agreeing to pay $418 million in damages while maintaining its innocence. Now, NAR had three main goals as part of this settlement. One is to release as many members, associations, and MLS as possible from liability. Two, they wanted to safeguard the choices consumers have regarding real estate services and compensation. And three, they wanted to continue to make homeownership accessible, particularly to first-time buyers and those in lower to middle income brackets. There are two main practice changes that came out of the settlement. First, cooperative broker compensation is now prohibited on the MLS. So all that really means is that agents can no longer publicize to other agents via the MLS how much compensation is being offered by the seller. Now, the seller can still continue to offer compensation to the other agents, it just cannot be through the MLS. So if you start seeing things like on social media where there's a certain amount of commission that's being offered, that's the reason. In other words, compensation remains fully negotiable. This just basically gives the seller more control on how much compensation is going to be offered to the buyer's agent. Sellers are now more empowered to control commission offerings, whether through concessions or direct agreements. The second major practice change is that buyers must now sign an agreement with a buyer's agent before viewing a property, submitting offers, or getting any specific details about a property outside of just the generic MLS information. This agreement outlines the type of representation and compensation for the buyer's agents, which can be paid in various ways, whether that's directly by the buyer or seller at closing or through seller concessions. Now, there are three representation types. Single agent representation, which offers the highest level representation and involves fiduciary duties. Transaction broker, which is the default in Florida and has more limited representation. And there's no relationship where the agent performs minimal tasks. There's no advising and advocating for the buyer. As always, I'm here to help you navigate these changes. If you have any questions or need further information, don't be afraid to reach out.